Hey, what's going on, everybody? Tom here, one of the creators of Tropicolor. Just want to take a moment and explain what you've just downloaded and say thank you for purchasing the Film Emulsion Burns. These are 100% authentically created. I basically spent the last several months sourcing different film stocks from 35, 8, 65, large format, and did an extensive amount of like emulsion burns and high resolution scans. So what you're getting here is very authentic. I'm excited to kind of just break it down. I wanted to put together just like quick, video tutorials showing what's included. So as you're downloading, just making sure that everything lines up, but also just kind of bring you into, the editing software and show you the utility of how you can use this product. So take a look at all of these zips. This is how we've kind of bundled these larger files. So make sure, just take a look at this tutorial and make sure that all of these downloaded. It should look just like this. And once you've opened these individual folders, it's going to end up looking like this, right? So I've got 6K scans, right? So these are individual textures, basically high resolution 6K grabs from the different burns that I've done, right? So I pulled, these basically live as individual high-res JPEGs, and the utility of these, there's over 50 of them, is if you want to use these film emulsion burns more in like a graphic design standpoint, you can bring them into Photoshop and use it for any graphic work. This is just our cinematic title pack. So you can see this is what those textures are doing, right? So you can kind of use it to create a stylized backdrop. So like I said, there's 56K, very, very high resolution scans of these emulsion burns. I do feel like most of you purchasing this though are probably more interested in the motion aspect of it, right? So when you download those zips, I just made these folders. I unfortunately can't upload these folders as they're named right here to the server that you guys are downloading from because they are very large files. So I essentially broke them down, and I just want to take a moment to explain that. So when you see graded, I took the time and graded these emulsions to my taste and liking to give them contrast, saturation. But and I find that this will work in most cases. In most edit timelines, if you drag this, it really should get pretty close to what you're looking to do. But I also did include log scan. So when you see log scan, that is ungraded, straight from the scanner. Like, I did not alter the color whatsoever. So these will feel much more flat. So these three and these three are identical to each other. The only difference is this underscore graded or underscore log scan. I'm giving you guys both options, but kind of going through, you'll see 1 through 10 and 11 through 26. So there's 26 textures. And then transitions, I believe there is, let's take a look real quick. So transitions right here. Graded. So I think there's about 22 of them. So this zip is 22, and then it's basically mirrored, right? So 1 through 10, 11 through 26, so 26 ungraded, log scan textures, and then 22 transitions. So once you've downloaded it, just kind of want to walk you through the file hierarchy. Oh yeah, also want to include that we have a sound effects that we actually had a sound designer build. So these are full royalty free. It's kind of like film, chemical, emulsion burns that you can use in your edits as well. So those are included in the pack. As we dive into Premiere, I'm using Premiere, but you're more than welcome to do any of this. This will fully work in literally any editing software. Just for the sake of time, I'm in Premiere, but I imagine whatever editing software, Final Cut or DaVinci, a lot of the parameters I'm going to be messing around with are probably very similar. So diving right in, I've basically just dragged those folders, these folders here, into Premiere, right? So in this lower corner, I'm going to start by dragging basically some example footage, right? I've got a shot of a Suns jersey from a futuristic shoot. I'm going to keep the settings. So right, there's a little jersey going on right there. And I also have a shot of futuristic from a music video that Jake and I shot. So I'm going to drag these two into the project. So basically it goes from a shot of a Suns jersey to a Steadicam push-in, right? So that is basically, just two shots. These clips, mind you, are not included, as you note right here in this folder. This is just for the sake of this tutorial. So now this is where the fun begins, right? So to kind of walk you through, I'm going to look through the graded. These are great for, I'm going to kind of make this more full screen. I designed these to be kind of like more like abstract textures that you can use for like title design. So if you're going through these, this first folder of 1 through 26 are really high fidelity, super, these are, scanned at 6K, like emulsion burns. You can definitely try and overlay these with like a screen transfer mode or, overlay and do some really cool like kind of flash transitions. But I do have these are just supposed to be more kind of like abstract textures that you can use for your project, right? For like titles. So let me just find one. I think this one looks really cool. I'm also going to drag that in, right? So just to recap, I've got, let me make these a little bit bigger too, just so you guys can see what's going on. So I've just dragged this abstract kind of texture from the 11 to 26 graded emulsion burn textures on that folder. So this kind of plays out. You can kind of see that right here. Real quickly, I'm just going to apply a quick title. I think that'd be cool. And I kind of pre-built this timeline. The title is less important. I'm just kind of showing you the utility. So I'm going to drag that over. And so you could do any title, right? But now kind of look at how instantly that backdrop is just really, I think, quite cool, right? Just seeing these emulsion burns is really cool for like any title. Like I said, you can use it in Photoshop for like graphic design work. Where the real fun begins, where I think a lot of you will really enjoy this pack, are the emulsion transitions. So real quickly, just kind of scrubbing through, you'll see that it reveals, oh, sorry, wrong folder. So collapsing this folder, going to transitions, right? I'm going to use the graded, but you can see like the difference here, right? So this is, I'll just go here. This is the ungraded, right? The log scan. I'm going to go to the same exact clip. Take a look right here in this window. You can see the graded just has a little bit more vibrancy. So I'm giving you both options. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to use this one, right? I'm going to use the graded. And what's cool about these, as you kind of scrub the playhead, is it will reveal a green screen. So very simple. I do want to still show you how this works, but essentially if you've ever used a green screen, you essentially just add a keyer in your editing software and the green will be your below layer, right? So let me kind of make this a bit bigger. And I'm thinking this first one works really well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this, and right when it reveals the green, right there, I'm going to hit the I button, which stands for in. And I'm going to drag this right where the edit is. And bear with me, right? So right when it cuts from the Suns jersey to futuristic, which would be right here. So it goes from Suns jersey right at the edit point is right where I want. And I've just kind of selected the playhead where I want the green to reveal. So now it's going to go from Suns jersey to this. So check it out. Now from here, now that we're on the edit, you can drag this backwards. So now what I've done is the green reveals right on the edit point. So all you got to do is go over to effects. So if you're in Premiere, you can follow this verbatim. If you're in Final Cut, it might be a little bit different, right? But I'm almost certain every editing software has some sort of keyer. So I'm going to go to, I think the one I like to use is called Ultra Key. Very straightforward. You're going to drag that over your emulsion layer. So that thing that I dragged on top. So just to recap, this is my footage. Right over here, this is just another emulsion with a title, and this is that transition. So you want the transition to be above. So this is the video footage. You want the emulsion transitions to be above in the layers, right? So I've just applied Ultra Key. I'm going to go over to Effects, and I'm going to grab this little eyedropper, right? So Ultra Key is selected. I'm going to grab this eyedropper, and I'm just going to select this green. The only thing is, obviously, it looks a little funky because the futuristic footage is not color graded. Obviously, we're looking at, this is color graded right here. We're looking at, obviously, the color graded burns, but we're not seeing color graded footage. So real quickly, I mean, this is not a coloring tutorial. So I kind of had pre-built this timeline. I'm just going to quickly grab the color grading I did and just apply it to the bottom layer and this jersey, right? So let's see, let's take a quick look. We got Lumetri applied. I think this could be just a little brighter just for the sake of this, just so we can see everything, right? Just gonna bump it up to 2. Cool. So here's our edit, right? We have the title with the emulsions, kind of reveals this. We see this jersey, and then boom, right? Kind of reveals, and you can kind of see the emulsion is revealing the footage. And let's see, I can kind of clean that up. So I'm gonna actually reset this, because you kind of want to key it out right on the last frame, if that makes sense. So, because the green, as I'm pushing in, so yeah, a good little rule of thumb is scroll right to the edge of the playhead, and that's where you want to do the green. So sorry about that. And then I find what actually really helps too is you just kind of want to fade this off very subtly. So I'm going to go to cross dissolve. You could also do this by keyframing. But now, as it pushes in, the green screen will just kind of fade away, because you kind of see without this, you can kind of see that the green still has some bit of a tint on your footage. And then as soon as this video layer ends, it just cuts like that, right? So I find a transition kind of helps ease it off, right? So there you go. We've basically, and then I think another thing I want to try and do, opposed to going from this jersey and then just hard cuts to this, I kind of like this part right here, right? And this is where it can be really fun for you guys, because you can kind of use your own kind of artistic, you may like different parts of these burns. What's cool too is you can kind of come in if you wanted to. These are pretty high resolution. Like you can rotate, and if you were to say punch in, you can really manipulate these in any way you want, right? So I'm going to go to blade. So I only want to affect the part that's over these jerseys, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the composite mode from normal to overlay. So now it kind of feels like it's affecting the footage below, right? So that way it kind of like almost looks like the jersey is kind of like the footage of the jersey is actually melting. And then what I want to also do, and mind you, it really does depend on your footage, I'm going to sync up that burn with this flash. And then I'm just trying to kind of show you this tutorial in like a real world scenario, right? As if I was the editor. So now when this jersey flashes, there it is. Let's see. Sorry, I think I kind of drug it a little too much. Let's grab that back. Let's see. So right as it flashes, it kind of triggers that burn. I know obviously your source footage might not have a flash, but just kind of showing you like as if I'm editing it, flashes and it pushes through, right? So now we've used a couple of the products. We've used one of our graded emulsion burn textures, number 23 if you are curious, as like an artistic abstract background for a cool title. If you were curious, these are cinematic titles that we do offer as well. But you could use literally any title, right? So this is like a cool little bumper, and then it kind of jumps into the video. We're scrubbing through, we see this jersey, and it's like a cool artistic transition. Like you can basically use this to transition between shots. And there's 22 of these, and like I said, you can use them in any capacity. This was just me grabbing one, doing a quick key, and there are things that you could clean up, like little edges and masks. This was simply just a tutorial to show you the use case from Photoshop, Premiere. Like I said, you can use this in Final Cut. But yeah, that's pretty much the pack. It's very, we try to include as much as possible from, stills, sound effects, motion, transition, textures. So yeah, enjoy. I can't wait to see what you guys create in this. This QuickTime will be available for download in the product as well. So as you download all these zips, there's going to be another download, which is this video, which I guess at this point you've already downloaded it because you're watching it. But feel free to keep this on your desktop, store it with this, and feel free to reference it. And if you have any questions too, you can DM us. Our DM on Tropic Color, Instagram, we respond to that daily. So if you have questions, you've bought this and have some kind of questions about this product, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, thanks for purchasing, and yeah, I can't wait to see you guys use it.